in LA. It's summer in LA. Everybody, hey, let's all go out and play. It's summer in LA. It's summer in LA. All the kids are out of school and laughter fills the air. Another summer is on the way. People on the beach and walking barefoot down the street. Come on and catch a sunny day. Everybody, hey, let's all go out and play. It's summer in LA.
Hey guys, welcome back. This is the KANU Chronicles, and I'm your host Nate, aka Crash. And you're hearing me on a Solocast. I know you could hear neighborhood noises because I am walking in my neighborhood. Starting this Solocast that I wasn't planning to do, but somehow I lost the other podcast. Had a malfunction happen, so here we are. But hope you guys are having a good week, and I know this is going to be running probably about a good day late for a lot of people. I was totally ready for yesterday to have it dropped when I really wanted to, but like I said, I apologize. It's out of my control, man. I lost a good podcast. I had Kim on and everything. I can't seem to reach him, so I'm not going to worry about it. But anyways, speaking of that, I'll just give you, it's not going to be that great, but I'm going to give you the best condensed version of what we said, so to speak. We were talking about MMA this weekend. Had some great fights. Huge knockout. I can't remember the guy's name right now. Starts with an M, I believe. Something Mirovich or something like that. And he took out Askin, I think is the other guy. Anyways, yeah, he took him out in they said 5 seconds, but we broke it down. It was like maybe 3 seconds. But and then there was in the female category, Holly Holmes got knocked out with a leg kick, which was her big time, all-time knockout move on Ronda Rousey, former UFC championship holder. And again, I'm sorry, I don't have the names in front of me. I don't watch all the UFC, so I'm not as familiar. But yeah, that went down this weekend. So at the T-Mobile out in Vegas, shout out to my man Gabe Morency. Sports Rage is his Twitter. You can look him up. He was out there, trying to make a few bucks and also enjoying the action. So, doesn't seem that, unfortunately, from his tweets, it looks like he didn't do too well, unfortunately. So, but he gets to live another day, so go back to New York and get that money. But yeah, if you want to check them out, it's this Fantasy Sports Network. I don't get paid for this. I'm just shouting them out because I enjoy them. And also it's, Gabe's a cool friend of mine that I've known for some years and followed all the way from Sirius, when he was on Sirius Satellite, back with the Score Network, which is now no longer in existence. It's just an app, the Score app, which a lot of people know. Actually, surprisingly picked up. I think a lot of people got hip to it and said, oh, this is way better than the ESPN app. So they do have that going for them. Anyways, and also real quick, let me get the social media stuff out of the way in case you're a first-time listener. So yeah, the podcast you're listening to, of course, I don't know, it depends. You're probably on Stitcher, you could be on iTunes, you could be on Castbox. Shout out to my Castbox listeners. You could be on iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio. There's just so many. I've been trying to look up and see where we're at, and we're in a lot of different directories, so I really appreciate all you guys, no matter where you're listening from. So you may have found me there. So also I have a YouTube channel, the KANU Chronicles. You could subscribe there. Podcast goes there as well. And along with the podcast, you can check out some videos I post here and there. I don't have a lot of recent ones. I've been, I've just been really busy with my schedule. I have a full-time job plus extra. I've been working really like every day of the week a lot of times. This week not so much because I had 4th off, which was fantastic. But going forward, it's going to be a hell of a run. I feel it. But I'm going to need to take a day here and there. There's just no way. But I do, at the least on Sunday when I do work, I've made it just 6 hours. That's it. Which does make a pretty big difference, I have to say. I mean, it is work. It does take up, it can kind of ruin a Sunday if you want to say, but I don't think so. It still makes I don't know, those 2 hours make a difference from 8. It's a big difference. A 6-hour day, I'll take it anytime, man. If I can keep a schedule, if I can get down to 6-hour day, and even if I work every day, but I can make enough and maybe even more, dude, sign me up. Down. Totally down. And of course, though, like I said, yeah, you need a day off, a couple days off. But think about it, yeah, 6 hours isn't bad. Most of your day, if you're not working, for a lot of people, people waste time. We fuck around on our computers, our phones, even when we're working. We waste, unfortunately, we do waste some time, even if, you don't mean to, but it's just the way it is. You want to relax. It's what we have in front of us, but, I'm just saying, you're going to have a good bit of day where you're not going to do much. So, hey, 5, 6, or you do 6 hours of work. It's nothing. You still have a good day. I don't have to convince you guys. I'm just talking about it, but, really think about it. Yeah, how much better things would be if people could work just 6 hours, maybe 7, with the break or something, right? Keep it under 8. That difference right there, that 2 hours, ginormous difference. So let's say you're the typical 9 to 5. Now you would be 9 to 3 per se. That's a big difference, So, and the earlier the schedule, the earlier you'd be out. If you worked a 6 a.m. shift, you're out at noon, essentially. Maybe 1. That's a nice day, man. Got a pretty, like I said, that extra hour or two, that makes a difference. And you keep having that every day, morale shoots right up. So, but, I don't know, as Americans, most of us at least, I don't know, the ones that work, I'm not going to speak for everybody, but for people that work, mainly here in America, the West style, if you want to say. I'm trying to look at my meters here, guys. I hope this isn't too loud. It shouldn't be. Sorry, guys, if I take a pause, I just need to get a better view here. Okay. But, sorry. There's going to be some extra noises here. I can't control this. And of course, they would be going right past me. But it's not a studio. It's not a controlled environment. So this is what I got to deal with. All right. I guess I'm going to just walk. I'm going to keep going the direction I was going, really. So, but yeah, I was going to say with the way that we are in the West in terms of our hours, I don't know. I tell you, I say 6 hours. People go, "Yeah, that would be awesome," or whatever. But I don't know. People, even myself included, we're so is a work, if you're a pretty hard worker, we're so used to doing those hours, so I think we would, it would be, I don't know if everybody would be able to, I think people would still naturally still do more hours, the ones that just work hard, because you kind of enjoy it, even if you don't, like, you don't enjoy it in the same way like you enjoy a good concert or a game or time with your kids or whatever, but you enjoy the fact that you put a good day's work in, you got yourself tired, you feel like, hopefully you feel like you kind of accomplished something. So there's a lot more about this work and all that plays a part. So sorry, I got off course. I should get back to the sports here. That's what you guys may have tuned in for. So sorry about that long rant. We're only at 10 minutes, guys. It ain't that bad. Anyways, no, I didn't go. It wasn't all that. I think I probably ranted for maybe 2 minutes on that. So yeah, so the MMA. Hope you guys enjoyed that. It was another successful UFC. As far as what I could see, I really, like I said, I apologize. I'm not well versed in who has what belt and all the things. All I know is the guy that got knocked out, that was his first knockout, that was his first loss, so that was a big thing. But other than that, I don't think there was really titles so much involved, or maybe nothing big enough. But nevertheless, if you want to hear more coverage on that, you know where to go. Fighter and the Kid, all those guys. Of course, if I had Broski on, if the podcast didn't get screwed up, we had a pretty good conversation when it comes to all that. So, especially Kim, because he's got a lot of passion about fighting, boxing and otherwise. And that was the other one we got into. We talked about Thurman and Pacquiao coming up July 20th. Forget exactly where it's going to be, but it's coming up. It's going to be the old versus the new. Pacquiao's 40 years old. I forget the opponent. He's in his 20s. I don't know exact age, but it's going to be it's a big challenge here. I'm going to stop over here at this park. I have a park bench and I can just kind of stay still. Sorry about the little bit of wind here. A good bit of wind. I don't know if I could do anything about that. It seems to be picking it up really well. All right, but we got some birds going on here and everything. So yeah, I'm getting you the real sense of where I'm at and everything. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Beautiful day. So yeah, Pacquiao versus Thurman, gonna be a exciting matchup. Like I said, old versus young and all that good stuff. Definitely, me and Kim were Team Pacquiao. Love to see the guy definitely take him out, stop that shit talking that he's washed up or whatever. He's going to take him out like De La Hoya or how he did him. So I hope he really can do that. I hope he can shut him up. I saw a little training footage of Pacquiao just the other day, and he's looking really fast, and you're just seeing snippets, this is just some technique stuff. He wasn't fully throwing his swings, but you could see, he's got it. So, it was shadow boxing. They weren't, no sparring and stuff like that. But, hey man, all that stuff's great, but, let's see on the day of the fight. That's my whole thing. But yeah, I hope you guys are going to enjoy that wherever you're at. I can't say myself. I may not see it live. I don't know. Sorry, there's this guy screaming in the background. They're doing baseball practice. Hope that's not too intrusive, but it's just what it is, guys. Just roll with me on this one. I could have just stayed in my house, but I needed to get out and walk. And I said, well, I might as well podcast while I do this too. So that's why I'm outside. And besides, let's make it interesting, right? But yeah, I probably won't. You know, I'm working, so I'm sure I won't be necessarily seeing it live. But then I could pull it up on my phone while I'm at work, or maybe I'll have my a laptop of some sort, or you know, I might have some new shit by then. I don't know. I'm itching. I need something else. My phone, it's been great. It's I have a 5S. I've been holding on to it. I got another one this past year because the other one went out, but they replaced it with the new one for $80. So it was like, hell yeah. And just a heads up, anybody that's on Apple, go to your Apple store. You could ask your guy, but my guy highly rated the 5S. He said it's still one of the better ones out of all the phones up until this was, you know, some months back. Maybe they've worked out some things on the newer ones. I haven't heard too many problems. Obviously, I'm not sitting there telling you don't get a new phone. It's up to your discretion. There's a lot of features and advantages, especially the camera. The cameras are always huge. The cameras are always a huge deal breaker, you know, or deal maker, I should say. As much as we use the phone, you know, everybody likes these cameras. Nobody's gonna not like a camera, especially when you get nice pictures, you know, and you got pictures to take. You know, you got kids, grandkids, whoever, you know, vacations, or just, you know, pictures of your fucking food, you know. This typical stuff we all post, right? It's really the gamut of things, guys. I'm telling you, when it comes to all that. But yeah, the 5S, man, it's been great, and I'm gonna stick with it till the brand new iPhone's coming out in September. I'm gonna just jump right to that one. I think I really need to. I don't want to wait much longer. I don't want to go another year. You know, I could see going later in the year, maybe. You know, I can always get that Black Friday deal. Maybe that'll be you know, it's hard to think, but I really rather just get it out of the way coming up, you know, either right when it launches or right after, you know. But I'm gonna get it. I want to get it pretty soon and just make the move. But you know, even beyond that, I'm gonna get the I need to get something else, you know, to, you know, just be able to travel with and use. Gotta have all the options. It's so cheap these days. So what else was I gonna say? Yeah, so that wraps up like the fight in MMA. I mean, that's my condensed version. I'm telling you, we definitely talked a lot more than that. You know, and I'm gonna be recording more often. You guys won't even notice, but I'll be doing it. I mean, you'll notice once I'm loading them. But I'm not gonna say. I'm gonna say no. I wouldn't mind having no more than 2 a week, as I've done before. I'm just not gonna make a promise that that's gonna be a constant thing. But I'm gonna be recording more periods, so that way I make sure to get everything instead of spreading it out. You know, I need to just record through the week. I want to have things set up so this is pretty seamless and I don't miss much of a beat. So just giving you guys some heads up on that. But yeah, real quick, also back on sports, gotta talk about it. You heard it here. If you were listening to our last podcast, if you listened to maybe several other ones, I can't remember, going back maybe a few weeks perhaps during this playoff run in the NBA. Well, Kawhi Leonard is officially a Clipper. We were not predicting it, not saying that was 100%, but we definitely were making the case for it, you know, and definitely felt that if he was going to even bother leaving Toronto, which really, at the end of the day, I think he probably should have maybe stayed in a way. But I will say, if you're going to make a bold move, this was the move to make, and the time had to be now, you know, because the fact the Clippers have been moving right in that direction, you know. They definitely showed that this last offseason. And, you know, I think it's a fantastic like I said, if you're gonna do it, I think that move was better than the Lakers. I think the Lakers, you know, as much as I would like to say that, you know, maybe that could have been a good thing. Not saying they wouldn't have played well together or complement. There's just a lot of, I just don't think they, if I think it would have, I think the difference, I'm serious, I really think the difference is the chemistry that was already there. And I think if Kawhi saw that the Lakers did have if they would have had a better season last year, then I think that would have been more of a consideration, you know. If they would have looked already like a team, you know, he would have probably been like, okay. But the facts are the facts, and the team that looks like a team right now is the Clippers, whether you think much of them or not. I'm not Mr. Clipper fan or Mr. Laker fan, but you know, I want the best for both of them, honestly. Let me tell you something. I've wanted to be at times a Laker fan over the years, but they always seem to mess it up for me with some of their moves, or just sometimes the fan base, you know, I don't know. But I'll still, hey, you know, I pull for them. I'm happy for them. I think that, again, right now today they just made a move. They just got Avery Bradley, I think his name is, who's a really good defender and contributor. Really good defender. He could defend the best. He was just on the Celtics, I believe. He was on the Celtics. I don't know if he just was, but it looks like he was. So that's a great addition, Lakers. Good job. They're making. I think they're making good moves. I think that if I'm a Laker fan, I wouldn't lose. Don't lose too much. I mean, sleep on. I mean, yeah, it's a big one. It's a big thing that happened. But if you guys can't do it with Anthony Davis and LeBron and Kuzma and whoever else, and now this guy Bradley, you know, if you can't really make a run with that team, then, you know, I don't know, like, what was the point of having LeBron? You know, what is the point? Or AD, you know what I'm saying? What are they? Are they not stars? I mean, they're getting paid like it. They're getting paid huge money, so they better bring it. They better be the leaders. They better cultivate that team. So let's see, right? Now the Clippers, and that's the other thing. I think that this is better balance. Kawhi is the leader. He calls the shots. He's not going to play second fiddle. So that also made sense too. But like I said, the Clippers already have the chemistry going on. They didn't really lose much of a beat after Lob City. Not too much. And I'm telling you, they're already heading the right way. Even if he didn't sign, they were already heading the right way. But this makes it huge. And then they got Paul George with this deal. So you got Kawhi and Paul George. So I know this is like, by the time you guys hear it, it's kind of old news. Everybody today's talking on ESPN, trying to save face or make up, you know, even though it doesn't matter. That's another thing, guys. Me and Kim were talking about it, but if you're an ESPN person, and you are going to be, just because if you want to watch anything sports or be able to tune in, they got it locked, no matter what you say. Okay, that's pretty much what it is. At some point, you got to look at a little bit of ESPN or whatever. But let's get real. These guys, you go, wow, how do they get away? They always mess up predictions. They're, you know, blah, 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 blah. Look, I'm going to tell you a little secret. They're an entertainment company. If they took that really serious, if they took their sports journalism real serious, do you think these guys would be on the air still? They don't give a fuck, okay? They just don't give a fuck. That's my opinion. Now, maybe that's not so true, but prove me otherwise. Has anybody been getting dropped from ESPN because of a bad prediction? It ain't gonna happen. It just isn't, unless they just, all it is drawing in viewers. And if you keep drawing in viewers no matter what, then they're not getting rid of them. And or they would have to, they'd have to do something very just something wrong. They'd have to get in some sexual allegation problems. They would have to, say some real fucked up shit on air, or tweet something really fucked up. Yeah, you don't even have to tweet that fucked up, as we've seen. But you know what I mean? They'd have to do something like that to get let go. But these things about, oh my God, people getting upset or fired, which is what they, what it is. But they get, to get even bothered by that, just stop. It's okay. But stop and think about it. This is an entertainment company. They don't care. So just remember that as you're watching that channel. That's all I gotta say. So, but yeah, if you're more hardcore, you should be checking out on YouTube. There's tons of people covering sports. Now, I'm not saying those guys are way better. They're great predictors either, but I'm just saying you could get even better content, I think, if you really look for it. And why wouldn't you? That's what we have now. You don't have to we shouldn't be just relying on one source for that. And then you got CBS Sports, Fox. So you might as well just use the YouTube. You could watch all the clips for any of them. You could watch, you could watch whoever in their bedroom doing their YouTube, giving their sports analysis. So you might as well take advantage of it all. But yeah, that's what's up with the trades right now. That's the big excitement this past week. Of course, everything else shook out. We already covered that. NBA is definitely shaping up. NBA starts around Halloween. All right, so we got what? It's not that far, guys. It's like basically just over 3 months. About 3 months away. Get ready. It's going to be a hell of a season coming up. Now, it is starting coming up. Now, mind you, it's exciting for the first, just like baseball, you get excited for the first week or so. And then you could see, everybody's just warming up, trying to get it going. And it doesn't really get going till about, I would say, I always say right by All-Star break, before All-Star, maybe Christmas, somewhere around there, just after Christmas. That's about when the season really gets going. It starts to matter a bit more that, they got more games under their belts. So, but I love what it's shaping up to be. I love how it's all stacked up right now. I think it's going to be really interesting. Then the other thing we got to get to, and I know it's been talked about, is Westbrook. Is he going to be out? I think he will. We think he will. Now that's something that they might get correct out there. Definitely, I would say the Rockets probably make the most sense. God, sorry about all this noise and shit, man. Thought I could come to a park and get some peace and quiet, but nope. There we go. It went out. So, yeah, the Rockets would make the most sense, I think. I think that would be a really good move if you're going to move Westbrook. The Pistons, definitely another place I think that could be good. The Spurs. I was saying the Spurs. I don't know if anybody's bringing up the Spurs. I don't know if they really can, but I think that wouldn't be a bad move either. The Spurs or Houston Rockets. Other than that, I'm sure there's some other teams probably pick it apart a little bit. But let's see. Let's see if he's going to be moved coming up. Is it going to happen before the season? Is it going to happen in the season? We'll see. I think Oklahoma's in a good spot. I wouldn't be too hasty. You want to make the right move, and I think they're going to act that way. And hey, for Westbrook, it's all good for him. He's shown that he's been trying and playing his damnedest and hardest. He'll be loved in that city because he'll still, no matter what happens, they'll be like, hey, this guy didn't just try to run out of here. He gave us gave us some great years, made this team a real franchise, along with, of course, Durant at the time, but took it for, but still carried on afterwards. So, he has really nothing to lose when it comes to that. At this point, I think it's going to end up real good for him. But we'll see, in terms of what team or whatever he might end up in. But, or maybe nothing will happen. Maybe just nothing will happen this season. So, beautiful day, guys. Never, needless to say, basically. Trying to think how to cut over. There's a lot more people here than I'm used to. I forget it's summertime, so there's more people out and about. Doesn't really bother me. It's just every time. I guarantee if I wasn't doing this podcast, I would have had a whole area, no problem, just to myself. But as soon as you start doing something, talking on a phone, whatever, people come around. I don't know what that is. Is it subconscious? Who knows? I'm walking across a field right now. Walking on the baseball field. But yeah, that's what we got to look forward to. What else do we want to cover? Oh, we should definitely, I'm going to cover some soccer. We didn't talk about that. I'm not a big soccer person, but got to give a shout out to the women's, U.S. women's team. Just dominant, just not stopping at all, and winning again. And I think this is the Gold Cup, they call it. So congrats to them. I think it was 2-0 or 2-1, whatever I'm sorry guys if I don't know. I wasn't prepared with the team right now. Who do they play? I'm gonna have to look, but never mind that. It doesn't matter. Shout out to them. Congrats on the win. I'm just keeping it real and funky here, So yeah. So that's what's up. I got a whole bunch of emails. Yeah, I'm not gonna worry about the details of that. The men, I don't know if they lost to Mexico. I think it was like 1-0. So hey, hard fought. I don't know if we get a chance to still continue or if that's it. So again, if you're a big soccer fan and you're screaming right now, sorry. Nah, I would be shocked if I have big time soccer fans listening to my podcast, considering I just don't cover it. Which isn't necessarily smart on my behalf. I probably should. Mind you, there is a player, I think he's Nigerian. His name is KANU. I think he probably pronounces it KANU. But like we have KANU Chronicles. When I look up KANU, his name came up. So he's about pretty much you're going to see his name if you look up KANU, and you'll see KANU Chronicles or KANU Podcast or KANU Entertainment. That's all me. So sorry, I'm going to be walking past this little playground. Kids are playing on this train setup. It's really nice. It's a nice setup. These are brand new. You're not seeing anything. I'll just describe it to you, but it's like a brand new setup, all safe. No nothing too dangerous, but it looks fun. Yeah, it's definitely safer than when when we had stuff. The playgrounds for us as kids, it was all metal, and you had sometimes rust on shit, and yeah, it was all kinds of stuff to get hurt on. But we didn't, I mean, I mostly didn't get hurt that much, to be honest. Or at least nothing real major. Bigger slides, hot ass steel in the sun. Somebody posted that. They posted, you know, something about the summer enemy, you know, the steel slide. And I immediately was like, oh, I remember that feeling of that hot ass slide, you know, on your leg. Just, you know, you have your shorts on, your legs hit it. You're like, ah, shit, that's hot, you know. We're walking by the pool here. Hey, it doesn't look too bad. All right. Well, I gotta have to come down and use it. Not too packed. There's some people, but it ain't too bad. Huh. It's an okay pool. There's some other ones I'm sure they're even better. The one in Burbank looks pretty nice. But this one isn't too shabby. They do have a slide. And you know, it's a good enough size, and it's not too crazy here, so hopefully when I get to go, I get lucky like that. Oh man. So yeah, guys, I'm not wrapping up just yet, but this may not go, you know, as long as I usually do. So let's see. Just gonna check what time it is here. Oh, wrong pocket. Got a lot of crap on me this time. I gotta go to the mail. Ooh, it's 1 o'clock. Yeah, I gotta get things moving here. But I gotta go mail something that didn't seem to get to them somehow, even though I had the correct address. Didn't make a difference. So I'm gonna attempt it again. So it kind of sucks because I lost $4 essentially on. Well, we'll see. Maybe I'll get lucky somehow. But I think you get screwed on that. Oh, here's a bench. Nobody around here. Let's see if I can sit here for a little bit before people start coming around. It's really nice. It's sunny right here. I don't have any shade, but it's cool enough, so it's no big deal. Oh, perfect. Put this right here, maybe. Let's see how the. Okay. I know you guys can still hear me. This thing picks up really well, a lot better than I probably think about it. But yeah, we're gonna see here. Let's see. Chilling right here. Now there's somebody walking right towards me. That's awesome. But we're gonna keep it going. So yeah, it's just another work week. Getting to some things. Like I said, check out the channel, the YouTube channel, KANU Chronicles. Please subscribe and like some of my videos. You might find something you're looking for there. I don't know. But, you know, and at the same time, it's real simple. That way you can always get the podcast because it's all there. So just trying to make it a little easier. Another way to listen in. But, hey, we all use these apps of different sorts. So however you got to find me, I love it. Thank you so much. And shout out to all you guys overseas. If I don't name your country, don't think I don't see you guys. I'm going to have to do a comprehensive one of these times here soon. But shout out to Europe, shout out to Canada, Mexico, South America, Africa, all my listeners in Asia, Australia, Aussie. Shout out to all my Aussies. When I was doing Uber, I haven't been doing any of that driving for a while, the Uber driving, but a lot of Aussie tourists out here in LA. Always good time, always very friendly, always good for conversation. And it's nothing on any other cultures or anything. It's nothing about that, but just wanted to point that out, you know. Shout out, matter of fact, while I'm talking about that a little bit, yeah, shout out to the Rideshare Professor channel. If you're into Uber or you're doing any of those rideshare services, Lyft, mainly those two, the driving, go check out the Rideshare Professor on his channel. He's an awesome guy. His name's Torsten. He's very helpful. He definitely he's been on YouTube, sharing his info and so many things when it comes to driving and making money, how to make even more, how to be get more professional, make yourself more of a business, not just being another guy that's just working for Uber, because these companies, at the end of the day, you're an independent contractor. You need to treat yourself and start, especially if you got to do it full time. The faster you can get to treating yourself like a business and even setting yourself up as one, the better. You might as well take advantage of everything you can when it comes to that. And Torsten's your guy. You could actually contact him. He'll help you. He has a course. Yeah, I think he still has courses, an e-course you can take to help you set up your private driving and take yourself to another level beyond just an Uber / Lyft driver. But yeah, definitely I was watching him live stream today, and actually we got a little shout out to the KANU Chronicles. It was pretty cool. He shouts out obviously most everybody in the chat, but that was really nice. But anyways, he's heading up to Sacramento, him and a few other YouTubers or more. I don't know how many of them, but he has a certain amount of them he's bringing in his car or SUV, and they're heading up to Sacramento because there's a Uber and Lyft are trying to, they're just trying to screw the drivers. That's what they've been doing. That's all they're good at. It's just been kind of getting worse from what I hear, it sounds like. And it's just unnecessary. So he's one of the guys and other ones that are trying to really form some protection for drivers and give us a voice. He's really ambitious. He's got a company he wants to start. It'd be basically a better, even better rideshare company. Of course, you're going against the giants, but hey, somebody's got to start somewhere, and there's other companies too. So I really appreciate that stuff. I'm not currently, like I said, I'm not driving right now. I'm well busy with my work and everything, which is great. But if I, if I was, these are the kind of people you want to definitely keep in touch with or get information from, because you need, there's not much help. They don't, when it comes to working in those services, you don't have really the help like you should. It's kind of, you're kind of on your own in many ways. I mean, look, there is the information though, that is a big difference. You do have the online community, and amongst drivers, there are drivers helping each other. So you got to look for those people. A lot of a lot of people are in a situation where that's like their last ditch in a way, or they're in a bind. They just have to do it. They don't want to be a driver, but they're like, well, I got to do it. I got a car. It works well. And they sign up, and then some end up really actually liking it, and thrive and are cool with it. And others, they're just more miserable, which I could understand, but if you got to get yourself, you got to get out of that. It's not the worst job in the fucking world. People make it, just like you got to change your attitude. That's any of us have to go through at some point. I've had to do it. You know what? There's other things. If it's really hard for you and you can't, maybe you can't take it, or first off, because I'm just going to keep going on about this for a little while. I used to talk about it a bit, but I'll bring it up again. I'm just going to say, first of all, what are you doing? What time of the day are you driving? You know what I mean? A lot of people end up just doing it like a 9-to-5 job. So they feel like, well, I got to work at those hours, or that's just what they're used to. I don't suggest that. I think you really need to be flexible. You got to learn to be flexible, and I really suggest trying different hours. See if you notice you'd be surprised. You might end up really surprising yourself and going, wow, I could be working these hours. This is way better. Here in LA, for instance, or probably most cities could qualify for this because all of them have their traffic issues, different levels, different types. But everybody's traffic is bad in everybody's situation because that's what they're used to. So I don't need to go on about LA. We got, obviously, everybody knows our traffic's like legendary because we just have so many people. But again, you could be in Pittsburgh or whatever. Everybody's got some kind of traffic issue in some regard. So, but the optimum time to drive here, quite honestly, and I haven't done it myself in this exact way, but I've done some of those hours a little bit. But basically 1 a.m., if you can start at 1 a.m., go through the night, maybe stop by 8, maybe 9, depends if you want to do that long. But that's your best money-making time. The roads are going to be pretty empty. I know, yes, you're like, oh, that's the bar people hour. Well, yeah, that's true, but not every single trip, even in those hours, is going to be a bar situation necessarily. Although it probably will too. But but I'm serious. You not every single person that you're getting at 1 a.m. and after is smashed or anything like that. That's just not the case. But that probably, I bet you the bar stuff kind of lasts up until 3 or later. You got some after hours and strip clubs that you might encounter, maybe, just depends. But you have people then that are the early business people and stuff, and they got places, they got to get to the airport, all that stuff. So by the time the morning starts coming, you're getting a good crop. Again, you got to give these things a chance to see if that's something you can work with. Now, that graveyard shift, as they call it, it's not for everybody. I particularly not crazy. I wouldn't really like it myself, but I think it'd be something to at least incorporate. Maybe you don't do it every time, but maybe you do a couple nights a week like that, just to because I bet you could do pretty well, if not very well. So that's something to consider, and that's not just for here in LA. That could be some other cities too. Just think about that. I don't think you got to be that extreme in my opinion. I think that I would say if you can, it just depends, man. Because I don't want to say the mornings aren't worth it. There is some money to make out there. They got bonuses because they're they want to get. They know that people probably hate driving in those hours because of the traffic, but depending where you're located or where you can get to, like there was a guy I ran into who was another Uber driver I picked up. It's funny, I picked him up from a strip club. He was all good, but he does driving too, and he lives in I can't remember his name. Super cool guy, shout him out, but I can't remember his name. But he lived in Westwood, which is right by UCLA, or basically is UCLA, that whole area, which is an enormous college campus if you're not aware. You're talking a student body of almost 40,000, something like that. But it's a very busy area, great location. He just gets up and works pretty much all the mornings. He does 3 hours in the morning, 7 to 9, 7 to 10, just depends how it goes, he says. And he cleans up really nice, and he ends up staying relatively close. The rides don't, not that they don't go out somewhere, but, he just said that, relatively I could kind of, like, that's pretty much sounds like what he does. He just does that, and then he says he takes a break or sleeps for a few hours more or whatever, and then he gets back up and goes out for the afternoon rush, I guess it is. Something like that. So he breaks up through the day, and I don't know how many hours he ends up doing overall, but whatever the case may be, he's figured out his little time slots, and it works for him, So I think any of those things are all good. Personally, I would say on a constant schedule in this town for LA, I think that if you would start, let's say if you're just somebody, hey, I don't really want to fuck with traffic too hard or whatever, I would suggest starting by 11 a.m. Start by 11 a.m. You're going to kind of have lighter roads. But it's going to pick up again, of course, by the time it's 4. But at least you're on the kind of the finishing time. And you could go 11 to 7 and you're good to go. I think you could do that most days and probably still do pretty damn well, But again, you might want to break it up into pieces. You might want to do so many hours at this point and then so many at this point. If you live in the city relatively, like right here, there's nothing wrong with doing that. If you have to travel into here from pretty far away, then that could be a little bit of a, it might not work out for you. Just depends. But yeah, that's all I could say. When it comes to any of that stuff, you guys got to make it. You got to try to be flexible. Really give yourself a chance to see what works. The other thing you can do is strategize your day. Where you, again, I'm going to always use here because this is where I live, so I know it, but you could apply some of these things to your city. But, basically look at it like this. Uber, busy times, morning because people are trying to get to work. Maybe they're trying to get to the airport. Maybe they just got errands to do. It just depends on what they're doing. But activity going on then. It goes on all day and night, but I'm just trying to give you pointers. Then you got the dinner rush. You got people going to dinner, going to concerts, getting home from work, leaving work, whatever. So that's like 4 to 8 o'clock, we'll say. And then after that, I'd say from 8 p.m. till probably 11, it gets a little weird. It could be not as busy as you would hope to be. It could be sometimes a little funky right there. You might get a little spurt and then it seems like it's dead. So, because people are kind of where they want to be. Maybe they're already at a bar, maybe they're at the restaurant, or they're just home and they're not going out yet. And then by 11, it picks up again. People are going out maybe, now they're ready to move around again. And that goes on, obviously, till after 2. And of course, from 11 p.m. till 2 a.m., again, you're going to have some gaps there. It's not constant. Just depends, again, though, too, where you're ending up at. As you know, if you're driving, it's not like you stay in a little 2-mile radius, Otherwise, it'd be pretty neat. But, it makes, I don't know if that would make it any better, quite honestly. But there's drivers that would prefer that. And I think that would be a cool thing if they had that feature. I think that these services should have features where the driver could stay within a certain range, and, I'd say for LA, I'd say 20 miles for doing Uber driving. I'd say that's a good one. There's plenty of work in a 20-mile range around LA, and that should still help the system. But they've done some features. They do give you a heads up if there's a long trip. The problem with the long trip feature, and I haven't been on for a little while, maybe they've done some changes, but the last time I was on it, the thing I noticed that I didn't like is that it just gives you, it bases it on the time of the trip, not so much distance. So that so-called long trip might not be that long. It's just that there's a lot of traffic, in that direction. So it's a little bit misleading, I wish they really would just straight up give you at least give you an area, a direction, That would be much more useful. I really don't understand why they can't just give you, like, this is where this person's going. I mean, what's the mystery about, Or maybe is that difficult for them to do? I don't know. I think they should have that. I mean, you're already, because the thing was to already let people know it's a long trip. So just give the heads up. Hey, it's going to be over this place or whatever. I mean, fuck. Doesn't mean the driver won't take it. Matter of fact, you might get some more drives because the person's like, oh, I'll go out that way. I think there's plenty of drivers that are cool that'll do a long trip if it's not like, if it's going in their direction, or if it's just not, long or far enough where it's like, nah, I ain't going out that way. I mean, drivers will take it. And besides, they could turn it down anyway, so what's the point? Just let people know. But again, if I'm talking and that maybe they've changed it, then, forget what I'm saying, because that's awesome. But but yeah, guys, that's pretty much what I got to say when it comes to some of that, the driving stuff. Anything else as far as that? Yeah, hey man, sign up with it all. What I did, I started with Postmates. I still have it. I've even have Saucy, which is local. It's only here in LA and Chicago, as far as I know. I don't know if they've expanded anywhere else. And that's the other thing. Look at some of the rideshare apps in your city. You might have some new ones coming up you might want to look at besides the big ones. But I think it's good to have a mix of delivery and driving. And Uber does a good job with that. Uber Eats, fantastic in my opinion. I had a bad opinion about them early on. Excuse me. But after doing an extensive amount of deliveries, I have to say I like their system. I think they're pretty fair. Obviously, it could always be a little better pay, but I'm not going to bitch about it. I think they got it down pat. Like it's much more. I think they do it. It's a lot smoother than what Postmates can be. Although I haven't done some Postmates for a little while, and I know they've done some improvements as well. But Uber Eats, it's pretty fucking good. I have to give it to them, seriously. And it's definitely if when it comes to that, that's the thing. If you're, like I said, if you're a driver that worries about distances and some of these rides, it could mess you up because you might be having a good roll and just get that one that takes you off this weird area. That's just the way it is with that stuff. You just have to kind of suck it up. But with these delivery services, you minimize that a bit. It still can happen. You still might get one weird one here and there, but for sure you're definitely not going over 20 miles anywhere delivering food. Probably not even going over, most of the time you're not even going over 10, Like it gets rare to have one that's like over 10 miles away. They happen, but it's not that often. And usually with that's not always bad because hopefully it's taking you to a busy area for food. So if it doesn't, then it's a bummer, But I'm going to say most of the time that I've had to do deliveries or I've done it, it's been really good. It really has. Yeah. So I'm not gonna shit on, I'm not gonna lie and say it isn't. And it's a nice feature, man, because you could go between both on Uber. You could go okay, I'll do just deliveries, and then you could go, oh, you know what, I'll do some rides now. Just make sure to try to freshen your car up though, because you may not smell it as strong or whatever, but hopefully the food smell isn't too strong in the car. That's the only thing. Now, I've never had any problems though. Nobody's ever said anything. I think I've been lucky, but just a little. All you got to do is, I'm just saying, like if you just did a drop off, it still smells like McDonald's. You might want to, before you go right to picking up people, probably turn off the app for a second and just let your windows down and kind of move, air out the car. Hopefully you got some air freshener, and then boom, go right to driving. And and the thing is, the rides count. You get it's a good advantage, I have to say. As much as I'll want to, sometimes I used to be like, oh, I'll do a little Postmates, and then but it's like with Uber and all that, it makes it where it's like, well, it's kind of like, I don't know if it's really necessary, but it's good to have these other ones, because like for instance right now I don't have I have to get my car inspected for both Uber and Lyft. I haven't had a need to, but I need to go do it just to have it so it's ready and good to go. But in this time I can't drive right now for any of those, but what I can do is I can Postmates and all that, I don't have to worry about it. I can go right to it. Maybe you get a somebody gives you some real bad review, they fuck with your account, whatever, maybe they suspend you somehow, right? Anything happens, right? That's why it's important to have another app, like a delivery app especially, because it's pretty impossible to have any of that happen on those. So in that way, you don't have downtime. You can go right to working on that one. You don't have to worry about it. You can be like, all right, and you could deal with that accordingly. And in the meantime, you can keep it moving and still make your money, and you might make more. I'll say that's one thing. If you're talking deliveries, you're going to do better on Postmates probably because the tips are better. But it could be close though, because the thing is, Uber, you might have more frequency, you might have more delivery. So, but it's like I said, it's just good to have variety. I think you should have a couple apps. Maybe Prime, maybe do Amazon Prime. I think they're less need in some areas now, so that might be an issue to sign up. But you could sign up with them. There's so many guys. I'm telling you, there's probably at least 10 to 15 rideshare type apps out there going on in different cities or throughout the United States. So do your due diligence, do a little homework, and I'm telling you, it's worth it. Have yourself a few to be signed up with. If you don't do them, it doesn't matter. You got codes you could share. You can make money on that. You can do videos and stuff. I mean, I would suggest doing some of the work. I wouldn't just start doing videos if you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. But that's the thing too. When it comes to that, if you want to start doing that, which you definitely should, and I think it's not a bad idea. Maybe it's a blog. Maybe it's podcast. Maybe it's videos on YouTube, which probably is your best bet. I would say you should probably give yourself, a good 100, 200 trips, deliveries. I'd give yourself some time before I would start, if you're going to try to give advice. But if you want to vlog and maybe be honest, saying, hey, this is me, I'm starting out, guys, just follow along with me type thing, then do that. Nothing wrong with that. You just want to be true to your content if you can. So that's my advice for the day when it comes to any of that stuff, you guys. I'm trying to think anything else. Not a whole lot else, guys. I gotta actually start walking again here. Oops. Let's see. Oh man, did really good. I'm gonna start walking again here. Sat down long enough. That was actually a perfect spot. I got a little sun. Man, this is great. I'm gonna enjoy this because it's gonna heat up this week. So, totally gonna enjoy this right now. Because I don't think I've been able to sit quite like that in another couple days. It's gonna be pretty hot. But right now, perfect day. It's very comfortable. If it's 80, it's like barely 80. So, like I'm not even sweating one bit. Yeah, we're lucky out here on the West Coast. We don't have humidity as much as the East. So, but it can get a little bit. It can get a little bit. Here and there we do get it, but more so is just we get intense. We'll start getting some intense hot days, 90s, 100s. But, that's always going to happen here. It's not as bad as Vegas or Phoenix or those places. Because once summer hits, you're pretty much looking at 100 for the rest of the damn, season, But people get used to it. Honestly, at the end of the day, I'm barely, when you really look at it, I mean, I get outside as much as I can. I definitely do a pretty good job of that with the hours I do. But, I'm mostly inside a building that's always air conditioned and stuff. So, or I'm in my car, and just like a lot of us, not really out in the environment too much, but it's important. I make, doing this little walk here and there, or like I said, in my jobs I sit a lot, but I get up and I move, man. I go and take a walk out in the neighborhood wherever I'm at, and it takes nothing. It's 5-10 minutes, and it makes a difference. It really does. There's just no way I could I can't really sit like that forever and ever, nor should you. But yeah, it's important. So I appreciate you guys listening. I'm going to stop this for now. If you're lucky, maybe there'll be a little more on this one. I don't know. I'm not going to say because I don't know. If I can, I will. But anyways, you guys have a great week. And have a great week. And make everything happen that you need to make happen. And we'll be back again. Thanks for listening.